Okay, so last week I posted this on my Instagram story and I was confronting and trying to figure out why this disharmony was being experienced in my life, okay? And the disharmony, if you didn't want to read that whole thing, it's basically that I just noticed this pattern that any time that I told myself that I want to do something and it became like something that I expected myself to do, it became like impossible, completely impossible to do it. So this would show up every single day, every time I had to feed myself. So any sort of task that had any sort of like obligation energy attached to it, or the sense of like I have to do this, like for example, I have to eat because if I don't eat, like I'm gonna die. So it's something that I have to do. It has some sort of obligation energy associated with it. It's just like my body was like, even if I wanted to do it, because obviously I'm hungry, even if my body wanted to do it, because obviously it's hungry, I was like, oh, well, they had the obligation associated with it, so like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I was really like looking into this, and it started off in my journal, because when I started noticing, it's like, for me, this is how I work, this is how I heal my shit. Thing I want to say first is that healing is finite. A lot of people are under the impression that healing is this never-ending thing and you'll never ever get there. And I think that's not quite exactly true, because although healing is not linear, that part's true. Like, yes, when you start going into healing a certain pattern that you have, you might experience it more like a spiral, as in you might heal like a layer and then it's like feels great and then you have to like come back to it at another point. But in the past like decade or so of self-healing that I've been doing, there are things that have completely dissolved. Okay, so don't let anyone make you believe that healing is not finite and it's just this like never-ending process. Like, there is a finite process that gets you to this like harmonious reality. So anyway, so anytime I notice any sort of disharmony in my life or my everyday to-day experience, I will look at it, okay? And I usually start in my journal. And with the journal, it was really just acknowledging and noticing and seeing what was coming up. I do like a lot of free writing, which is basically like stream of consciousness writing. And then I made a story. I had some conversations via that story with people about it. And it's not like I'm not intense about healing it. I'm just like, interesting. I'm just gonna pay attention to this. And then it's like the next day goes by, like days go by, whatever. When you start focusing on something that you want to like fix in your reality, in your life, everything in the universe will restructure itself in order to help you. That's just how it works. Like, the universe supports you, okay? Because you are the universe, but that's another topic. So essentially everything, my reality started like kind of shaping to help assist me in this process. So the part that makes it kind of hard is that when it reshapes and reality restructures to help you process stuff, you actually have to confront things and process stuff, okay? So, and sometimes, oftentimes, things will seem unrelated, but like, understand that nothing is a coincidence. So that came up, right? And so that led me into just realizing, like in my journal, I was like, oh, I kind of feel frozen. Like, it feels like my body doesn't want to move. That led me into like my friend Emily, I'll tag her in the description, like her work, which is about nervous system healing. And she just happened to be doing a free master class last week on like titled "What state are you in?" Like, what state is your nervous system in? Are you in fight mode, freeze mode, relaxed mode? And I was like, okay, freeze. And then and I was like, okay, let me do this master class. Like, I just felt called to do that. So I did that, and sure enough, I felt like I was in freeze mode, and that gave me this extra layer of like acknowledgement and enlightenment and understanding as to what was going on. And I was like, oh, my body's in freeze mode, that's why it doesn't want to do it. And then in a meditation later, by the way, I'm like self-guided. In the meditation in the masterclass, Emily guided us into like really feeling into the sensations. And in that moment, I uncovered this like childhood memory of feeling really like trapped in like a chaotic environment, not being able to like run away, not being able to do anything. Okay, and then that was it. Then the next day I'm like, okay, let's I just leave it. It's like things come to light and I don't like press it. It's like if something wants to come to light, it comes to light, and then I move forward with my day. Like I'm not like chasing it, okay? It's like what needs to come up in the perfect time, it will come up. So I'm like, okay, interesting. I'm in freeze mode probably because in my childhood I kept experiencing these like moments where I wanted to leave this like chaotic environment where adults were yelling at each other and I didn't have anywhere to go because I'm too young to like leave the house or whatever. So that made me go into a freeze response because I actually wanted to flight, but because it wasn't possible for me to flight, my body wanted to run away or leave the room, I couldn't because I was too young, and so my body got stuck in that. So then the next day I like check in and I asked my body, I'm like, okay, so how can I work through this? And I literally rolled out the mat. This is like the thing that I talked about in one of my posts that I made today, which was you can only ascend as high as you are rooted. If you look in the caption of that, I have like my somatics practice that I've been doing. But I basically rolled out my mat and I was like, closed my eyes and I went inwards and I was like, okay, let me bring up that scenario again. Like, let me bring up that memory. And so I brought my consciousness to the young child version of me who was in that situation. Like I literally transported my consciousness and I just observed. Okay. And then I was like, okay, what does my body want to do? Like now that I'm back here, what does my body want to do? And it was like, it wants to leave the room. Okay. So then I got off my mat and I went outside and I went on a walk. And midway through the walk, like 10 minutes in, I felt this like urge to run, like actually physically run. And then I was like, oh, this, like I could feel, even as I started walking, like I could feel energy clearing out of my body. And so I started running as well, and that just like made it even more like tangible and palpable that things were moving out of my body. And yeah, and it's like I'm not a runner, like I don't like running. It's always felt too intense for me, but in that moment, in that context, it was like the perfect thing for me. And so I ran for a bit, then I came back, I like, again, drop it. Like the thing happens, the healing thing happens, the thing gets released, and then it's done for that day. And then I just go and do other stuff unrelated to this whole process. What I started noticing over the next few days was it was just became night and day easier to cook and to do some of these tasks that I previously felt so frozen about, and I felt like, oh my god, it's an obligation, so I have to do it. Like, you know, so it was really magic. And although I have quite a bit more like conceptual story that I'm not even sharing here right now, but even you don't even need the conceptual stories. Like the fact that I have awareness into certain things, whatever, that's not even what shifted the energy for me or what cleared this shit out of my system. It was the actual connecting to, like, actually communicating with my body, asking it what it wants to do, and then doing the thing and letting my body express in the way that it wants to express. And that automatically cleared it. And today I'm like cooking dinner early because I want to. That's literally never happened to me before. Like my pattern used to be, and you had to cook dinner every single day, obviously, or like we had to make food, deal with food, and that like made me go into that freeze mode. It like for whatever reason brought me back into that place, like where my body is like braced, and then because it was so uncomfortable and I didn't really like know how to process that, I would just procrastinate. So I would just like scroll for hours instead of just doing the thing, because it was, you know, people are like, just do it. Like sometimes you can't just do it because there's so much built up discomfort that is somehow related to whatever task it is that you are procrastinating on, and just getting up and doing it is not, it's just forcing yourself, and that's just gonna like further traumatize you. It's better to clear it and actually dive into it and figure out what's causing the disharmony, giving yourself what you need, not like pushing yourself through it, like fucking just get it, like, you know, like not dragging yourself through it, because that's not going to help. That's just like It's not clearing the pattern. You're just going to like keep feeling the pattern every day. Most people would probably just be like, oh well, that's just how I am, like I hate cooking, it like I'll just like make enough money and like hire a private chef so I never have to acknowledge these feelings ever again. Or you don't have to wait until doing that, and you can just like actually dive into the sensation, dive into the disharmony, actually look at it, and then clear it and heal from it, and then allow your life experience to just be better. And you don't need to wait to have enough money to like hire someone to do it. Like, it's not avoidance. It's like you go into the thing, look at it, acknowledge it, and when you look at it, it begins to dissolve on its own. It's amazing.